Okay, let's dive into something truly incredible. Your nervous system. Seriously? Think of it as your body's own private, high-speed internet. It's sending messages faster than you can even blink, and it controls literally everything you do, everything you think, and everything you feel.
So, here's what we're going to do. We'll start with the body's emergency alert system, then we're going to meet the tiny messengers that make it all happen, the neurons. After that, we'll map out the information superhighway they build, peek inside the main control center, and finally, we'll solve the mystery of the amazing reflex action.
All right, let's jump right into the heart of a really cool mystery. We're talking about those moments where your body just acts on its own, way faster than your brain can even catch up.
I mean, really think about it for a second. Have you ever dodged something thrown at you or jumped back from a loud noise without even making a decision to do it? It just happens. How is that possible? Well, that's exactly the question we're going to answer today. Picture this. You're driving, and something suddenly runs out into the road. There's zero time to think, oh, I should brake now. Nope. Your foot just slams the brake pedal. That instant, life-saving move is a total masterpiece of biological engineering, and it's all thanks to your nervous system.
To really get how that incredible speed works, we've got to zoom in, like way in. We need to meet the microscopic hero that is the building block of this entire network. And here it is. This is the star of our show, the neuron, also known as a nerve cell. The easiest way to think of it is as a single, tiny biological wire. Its one and only job is to carry messages as little electrical signals from one spot to another.
And here's the cool part. The message is strictly a one-way street. The signal comes in through these little branchy things called dendrites. It gets processed in the main cell body, and then zap. It zips down that long cable, which is called the axon, ready to be passed on.
But get this, and this is a really fascinating detail. Neurons don't actually touch each other. There's this tiny microscopic gap between the end of one and the start of the next, and this super important little space is called the synapse.
So, for that message to keep going, the electrical signal literally has to make a leap of faith across that gap. It does this by turning into a chemical signal for a split second just to jump across to the next cell. It's this incredible chain reaction, this little leap that lets information fly across your body at unbelievable speeds.
Okay, so we've met a single messenger. Now let's zoom back out and see how billions of them team up to create the body's entire communication grid.
And this image just perfectly captures the sheer scale of it all. Millions of those little axons we just talked about are bundled together, kind of like the tiny wires in a huge electrical cable, and that bundle is what we call a nerve. These nerves then branch out everywhere, creating this massive network that connects every single part of your body back to a central hub.
Now this whole network is really broken down into two main teams. First, you've got the central nervous system, or CNS. That's command center, your brain and spinal cord. It gets all the info and makes the big decisions. Then you have the peripheral nervous system, the PNS. Think of that as the field network. It's all the nerves out there gathering intel and carrying out orders from command. So let's focus on that command center for a minute. It's time for a very quick tour of what is probably the most complex object in the known universe, the human brain.
You know, the brain isn't just one big gray blob. It's actually organized into three main parts, and each one has a very specific and very important job to do, to keep you up and running.
Let's break it down really quick. You've got the cerebrum, that's the biggest part, the big boss. It's where all your thinking, your intelligence, your memories, and your consciousness live. Then, tucked in the back, is the cerebellum. It's the master of coordination, making sure your movements are smooth and you don't fall over. And finally, you have the medulla oblongata, which connects to your spinal cord. It's basically the autopilot, taking care of all the stuff you never think about, like breathing and your heartbeat. All right, so we've met the messengers, and we've toured the control center, but that brings us back to our big question. What happens when an emergency is happening so fast that sending a message all the way to command is just too slow? It's time to solve our mystery. How do you pull your hand off a hot stove before you even realize it hurts? The answer is just brilliant. It's an incredibly fast process called the reflex arc. You can think of this as the body's ultimate emergency shortcut. It's a special pathway that completely bypasses the main control center, the brain, to get the absolute maximum speed. Okay, let's walk through it. 1. You touch something hot. 2. Receptors in your skin freak out and send an alarm. 3. That alarm signal shoots up a sensory neuron, but,
And here's the key, instead of going all the way up to the brain, it goes straight to the spinal cord. 4. The spinal cord doesn't wait for instructions, it immediately sends a command back down a motor neuron. 5. That command goes to the muscle in your arm, and 6. The muscle contracts and yanks your hand away. This whole thing happens before your brain even gets the memo that there's pain. Amazing, right?
So in that whole chain of events, that hot object you touched, that's what scientists call the stimulus. It's basically any change that your body feels it needs to react to.
And that ouch message, that little wave of electricity zipping through the nerves, that's the impulse. It's the raw data flying through the system.
In the final action of pulling your hand away, yep, you guessed it, that's the response. Stimulus, impulse, response. That's the fundamental loop of your nervous system in action.
But of course, not all reflexes are about life or death emergencies. We've got natural reflexes that we're just born with, like blinking to keep dust out of your eye, or sneezing. They're all about protection. But then we also develop conditioned reflexes. These are the ones we acquire through experience. The classic example? Your mouth starts watering just at the sight or smell of your favorite food. Your nervous system has learned that connection.
And that just goes to show how incredibly smart this system is. It doesn't just protect us with these built-in safety features. It also learns and adapts, creating brand new automatic shortcuts based on our own lives. Which leaves me with one last question for you to think about. What automatic reactions have you learned without even realizing it?